The sharp smack cut through the chatter and music in the banquet hall. Conversation stopped dead, and every one of the 200 eyes in the room turned to watch my dad's hand land across my cheek. My mom let out a quick gasp, more shocked about the scene we were making than the red mark blooming on my face. "You selfish little brat," my dad spat, his face burning with anger. "After everything we've done for you." I touched my cheek, tasting the blood from my split lip. My carefully done makeup was probably ruined, but honestly, I couldn't care less. My mind was racing, trying to wrap itself around the absurdity of what just happened. I'm Madison Harper. I'm 28, and minutes ago, my own father had just slapped me at my brother Ethan's wedding, all because I refused to hand over my penthouse to him and his new wife. They need a proper place to start their life, Mom had told me just before, cornering me by the dessert table. "Your penthouse is perfect, and you're just one person. Be reasonable, Madison." That penthouse was my pride and my sanctuary. I bought it myself, saved every dollar from years of grinding 60-hour weeks as a software engineer. Meanwhile, Ethan bounced from one failed startup to another, living off Mom and Dad's support. "No," I said, steady even though my hands were shaking. "The penthouse is mine. I bought it. I pay for it. Ethan and Claire can find somewhere else." That's when Dad stepped forward, flushed from too much champagne and his usual self-righteous attitude. "This isn't a request, Madison," he said. "Your brother is the man of the family now. He needs this." The man of the family. Right. Ethan was always the golden boy, even after his latest disaster, a crypto startup that crashed and burned last month, taking everyone's money with it. But apparently, I'm the unreasonable one for not giving up my home, I thought bitterly. "The answer's still no," I said quietly. "And if you bring this up again, I'm out of here." That's when he slapped me. Standing there in the sudden silence, I saw everything clearly for the first time: Mom's fake worry, Dad's entitled rage, and Ethan's smug grin from the head table. Even Claire looked pleased, like my humiliation was exactly what she wanted. I straightened my back, looked Dad dead in the eye, and smiled. "You're all going to regret this," I said loud enough for the whole room to hear. "Every last one of you." Then I turned and walked away, my heels clicking on the marble floor, leaving chaos behind me. I could hear Mom calling after me, probably scared about what the country club crowd would say. But I didn't stop. Once in my car, the tears finally came, not sadness, but fury. Years of being the responsible one, the dependable one, never asking for handouts, and this was how I got treated. Slapped and humiliated because I wouldn't give my home to my freeloading brother. My phone buzzed nonstop with texts. "Mom, come back inside. You're embarrassing us." "Ethan, don't be dramatic, sis. We can talk." "Claire, your brother deserves that penthouse more than you." "Dad, you will give Ethan the keys tomorrow." "This isn't up for discussion." I switched off my phone and started driving, not home. I couldn't face the penthouse right now. Instead, I headed to the only place I could think clearly, the little coffee shop where I'd spent countless hours coding and dreaming about my future. Mike, the barista, saw my face and without asking brought over my usual coffee. "Tough day?" he asked quietly. "My dad slapped me at my brother's wedding," I said, surprised at how calm I sounded. "Because I wouldn't give them my penthouse." Mike's eyes widened. "The one you worked 3 years of overtime to buy?" I nodded, taking a sip. "Apparently, your brother needs it more than you do. He's the man of the family now." "That's crazy," Mike said, sliding a chocolate muffin toward me. "On the house. You look like you need it." I sat there, staring out the cafe window as the sun dipped low, and a plan started to take shape in my mind. My family thought they could push me around, that I'd just roll over and give up everything I'd fought so hard for. They had no clue what I was really capable of. I pulled out my laptop and started firing off emails, first to my lawyer, then my financial advisor. Next, I pushed a series of code updates to my private GitHub repo. Finally, I dialed my real estate agent. "Remember that beachfront place we talked about?" I asked when she picked up. "I'm ready to put in an offer." By the time my coffee was gone, the groundwork for my revenge was set. They wanted my home? Let them try to take it. The quiet, easygoing daughter they thought they could walk all over vanished the second Dad's hand hit my cheek. This was war, and I was ready to win. The next morning, my parents showed up at my loft without warning. Dad barged past the doorman, who'd already called to alert me. I met them at the door, dressed sharp in my power suit, laptop in hand. "Where are you going?" Mom snapped as I locked the door behind me. "To work," I said coolly, pushing past them toward the elevator. "Some of us actually have jobs." "Don't you dare talk to me like that," Dad growled, grabbing my arm. I yanked it free, my voice ice cold. "Touch me again, and I'll have security escort you out. And yes, I have video of your little assault yesterday. The country club's cameras caught everything." That stopped them cold. Mom's face went pale. "You wouldn't dare." The elevator dinged open, and I stepped inside. "Oh, and change the locks all you want," I added before the door slid shut. "I've already moved everything valuable to secure storage." I waited until I was in my car to let out a shaky breath. Phase 1 was underway. Over the next week, I ignored every call and text, messages that only grew nastier with time. Ethan sent flying monkeys, mutual friends and relatives, trying to talk me down. Claire posted passive-aggressive posts on social media about selfish family members. I stayed silent and kept working. What they didn't know was I'd been preparing for a battle like this for years. Maybe not this exact fight. I never thought Dad would actually hit me, but I always knew they'd try to take what was mine. That's why I had every receipt, every penny I'd earned, every bill I paid, every upgrade I made to the loft. I had security cameras in every room, backup codes for every lock, and most importantly, leverage. See, during all those years of being the responsible daughter, I'd also been the family's tech support. I set up all their devices, managed their emails, and had access to everything, including Ethan's business records. On day 10 of radio silence, Mom tried a new tactic. She showed up at my office, tears in her eyes. "Your father's sorry," she said, sliding uninvited into the chair across from my desk. "He was just upset. You know how he gets when he's worried about Ethan," she added. "Worried about Ethan?" I kept typing, not looking up, unbothered by what Ethan's investors might do when they found out where their money really went. Her sharp gasp told me I'd hit a nerve. "I don't know what you mean," she said cautiously. "No?" I finally stopped and looked at her. "So you don't know about the offshore accounts, the shell companies, the consulting fees Ethan funneled to Dad's business?" Her face went pale. "How did you?" "I'm good at what I do, Mom." I smiled thinly. "Did you really think I wouldn't notice when Ethan used my old coding projects in his crypto scam?" "It's not a scam," she protested weakly. "He just made some mistakes." "Fraud isn't a mistake. It's a crime." I turned my laptop toward her, showing all the evidence I'd collected, and Dad helped him cover it up. She stared at the screen, hands shaking. "What do you? I just want to be left alone. No more demands, no more flying monkeys, no more social media drama. The penthouse is mine." End of discussion. "And if they refused?" I gave them the same smile I'd flashed at the wedding, then added, "These documents go straight to the SEC, along with the video of Dad hitting me. I'm pretty sure the investors would want to know exactly where their money disappeared." "You're destroying your own family," Mom's voice cracked. "You did that," I shot back. "When you demanded I give up my home. When Dad slapped me. When Ethan smirked about it." I turned my laptop screen back toward her. "I'm done being the family doormat." She left without another word, but I knew this wasn't over. They'd be furious, desperate even, but I had one more card to play. That evening, my real estate agent called. The beachfront property I'd been eyeing for months, the luxury apartment complex Ethan and Claire had been hoping to rent their dream place in, was officially mine. I logged into my private GitHub and pushed the final updates to my side project, a property management system I'd been quietly developing for months, the very same system Ethan tried to steal for his failed startup. My phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. "Mom told me what you're doing." "You can't prove a thing." I smiled and sent back a single screenshot, his private server logs. His reply came fast. "What do you want?" "Distance," I answered. "Complete and total. No contact, no demands, no family obligations." the penthouse and my life are off limits. And if I say no? Then I own your dream apartment complex. I have proof of your fraud, and enough evidence to bury both you and Dad. Your choice. The typing indicator blinked on and off for a while before his response, "You've changed." "No," I typed back. "I just stopped pretending to be who you wanted me to be." I put my phone on silent and stepped out onto my penthouse balcony. The city lights flickered on below, the sun setting on the family I'd known for so long. But I felt lighter than I had in years. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't about crushing your enemies. It's about finally becoming yourself. 3 months after the wedding disaster, I was sitting in my penthouse living room, sipping coffee and sorting through tenant applications for my beachfront complex. The investment was paying off, especially since I rolled out my management system. My phone buzzed with a notification. Ethan and Claire had been evicted from their luxury rental after missing rent for 2 months. I wasn't shocked. Without Dad's financial backup, which had dried up after my fraud revelations, they were finally facing reality. A knock at the door pulled me from my thoughts. Through the security camera, I saw Dad standing there. He looked older, more worn than I remembered. For a moment, I thought about ignoring him, but curiosity got the better of me. "What do you want?" I asked through the intercom. 5 minutes, Victoria. Please. I opened the door but didn't invite him inside. He shifted nervously, his usual swagger gone. "Ethan and Claire are moving back home," he said finally. "The apartment? They can't afford it." "I know," I said, folding my arms. His head snapped up, eyes wide. "But how?" "Because I'm good at what I do, Dad." "I always was good at what I do," I said quietly. "You just never noticed." He seemed to shrink right there in my doorway, leaning against the frame like he'd suddenly aged a decade. "Your mother misses you," he said. "We all do." "No," I corrected, firm and clear. "You miss having someone you could guilt into submission. Someone who'd drop everything to keep Ethan afloat. That person's gone." I was wrong, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "About all of it. The slap, the pressure, covering for Ethan. I've lost everything because of it." And he wasn't wrong. Once I threatened to go public, he was forced to resign from the board of his company. His reputation in the business world? Shredded. Though I never released a single document, the threat alone had been enough. "You didn't lose everything," I told him, arms crossed. "You still have your golden boy. Isn't that what mattered most?" "Madison, please. We're family." I actually laughed. Family? Family doesn't demand you give up your home. Family doesn't slap you in front of 200 people. Family doesn't smile while it happens. He flinched at every word, but I wasn't done. "You know what I realized after that wedding? I never needed any of you. Every success I've had, every goal I reached, it was in spite of you. Not because of you." "I know," he whispered. "I know that now." I looked at him, this man who had once seemed so loud, so overpowering. "And now?" He looked small. "Your 5 minutes are up," I said, starting to close the door. "Wait." He reached into his jacket and handed me an envelope. "Your mother wanted you to have this. It's an invitation to her birthday dinner next week. We'd really like you to come." I took the envelope but didn't open it. "I'll think about it." Later that night, I sat on my balcony, turning the invitation over and over in my hands. Part of me wanted to toss it in the trash, to keep the distance I'd fought to create. But another part of me, stronger, steadier, knew that real power didn't come from cutting people off. It came from choosing my own terms. The following week, I showed up to her birthday dinner. I came late, left early, said little, but I saw everything. Ethan and Claire sat stiffly in their seats, their high-end labels replaced with clearance rack modesty. My dad stayed sober, careful with every word. My mother tried too hard, her smile tight with nerves. They were all walking on eggshells, afraid of the power I now held, but I didn't use it to crush them. I used it as armor, to protect the life I'd built, not to punish them. And over the next few months, something shifted. They learned to respect my space, to stop expecting me to be their fallback plan. Ethan and Claire found average jobs and moved into a small apartment they could actually afford. Dad kept his distance, occasionally emailing me about deals he thought I might find interesting. Mom took longer to adjust, still clinging to the idea of a daughter she wished I'd been. But slowly, even she began to accept the woman I'd become. 1 year after the wedding disaster, I hosted a dinner in my penthouse, not for them, but for the people who had actually stood by me. Mike from the coffee shop was there. He'd handed me that chocolate muffin the night everything fell apart. My real estate agent, who helped me close the deal on the beachside complex. And my lawyer, who had my back from day one. We ate out on the balcony as the sun sank over the skyline, casting everything in soft gold. Mike raised his glass. To Madison, he said. Who turned a slap into an empire. I smiled, feeling the weight of that moment, the sting of humiliation that had sparked it all. But more than the money or the buildings, I'd gained something bigger, real independence, the ability to say no. To draw lines. To be unapologetically myself. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't about destroying anyone, it's about rising anyway, getting smarter. Stronger. Freer, and sometimes, it's about realizing the family you build means more than the one you're born into. I lifted my glass to join the toast. Finally, truly at peace. They tried to take my home, but instead, they gave me my freedom, and that was worth more than any penthouse.